All right, looks like it's leveling out. Hello, welcome to today's After School Nugget. If you saw one of our early advertisements, I am not who you are expecting, so I'm going to go on and apologize for that. Our scheduled speaker had a situation come up and wasn't able to make it, so we are pinch hitting today. So I will be doing a presentation on if Disney ran your after school program. So very different subject matter, but still a fun one to participate with. All right, let me start sharing my screen and we'll get going. All right. Oh, I'm Eleanor Blankenship and I'm an out of school time specialist with the Utah After School Network. I always forget that step. But welcome to If Disney Ran Your After School Program. Today, we are going to go over some topics such as Disney's culture, magical moments, the 4 keys, and then take it back. So we're going to look at what this means for us. I'm really excited for this discussion because the last time I did this presentation would have been, I did it at Northern Recharge, and then I did it at the beginning of this process. So I'm really intrigued to see how our answers have changed over the last few weeks and how the material gets adjusted. So Disney, the Walt Disney Corporation, internationally known, and they're well known for many, many different reasons. They have parks, they have movies, they have cruise lines, they own 90% of entertainment at this point. And so what I would like you to do is in the chat box to put a magical moment that you've had with Disney, whether it's you saw Lion King with your niece and nephew when it came out on DVD, or something like the first time you went to Disneyland. If you want to go on and share that while you are typing, I will go on and share mine. I have a picture of mine right there. I had the opportunity to work for Disney in 2015. I worked for Disney Cruise Line as a youth counselor. I did not last long because I'm afraid of water, which incidentally, not a good mesh for a cruise line industry employee. So I left after a month of failing a swim test. But in that month, I got to work in their childcare facility, learn a lot of great things. And on the 4th of July, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I got to have a picture with all of Mickey and his friends because they do those moments for their staff. So it was kind of cool to see, even as an employee, that they still care about making it magical for you. Looks like we got some. Narnia, Lion King, and an Olin Mills portrait. That statement is very 1994. Coco at the Disney Parade. High school marching band playing in Disneyland. How to work the Fast Pass. That is a great moment. Trips to Disneyland when my son was 5, watching Disney movies. Pirates of the Caribbean. So there's a lot of good memories that we have with Disney. That's their brand. It's what they do. And really the point of all this, that wheelchair cut pass. That is a great feature of Disneyland there, David. The reason it works so well for them is because it's what we recognize. We're excited. Kids will get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and line up outside of Disneyland for the gates to open. And they're excited. They're not whining and complaining. So as kids come into our programs and our interactions with us, are they excited like they're going to Disneyland, or are they going, it's too early and I don't want to see people? So just kind of something to reflect on while we go through this. All right. Looks like more customer service. Awesome to see. All right, moving on. So the Disney motto is "We create happiness." It actually has a full "We create happiness by providing the best in entertainment for all ages," and they make you memorize that on day 1. But any Disney employee, if you go up and you ask like, "Hey, what's that vision statement?" they're going to reply to you, "We create happiness." So everything that Disney does has this purpose. They are not wavering from their focus. Any thing that they do, whether you're a janitor or best friends with Cinderella, your goal is to create happiness for your guests, which I think is a pretty good place to start. So now, looking at that, what is it that makes your program magical? What are those little special things that you add in that are unique to you and that really make it tick? You want to share it in the chat box. I'll play some background music this time.
Find the fun and snap, the job's the game. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. A love, a spree, it's very clear to see. And a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
All right, looking at the chat box, it looks like we have a big theme of the people. Your staff and your kids, the teamwork that's happening, their attitudes and talent and personalities, exciting adventures, energy levels. And I think that is really, you guys are right in tune with it. The staff is really what is going to make it magical. Those interactions between a staff and a kid is where the magic happens. I can have the coolest program space in the world and have any number of supplies available, but if the staff and kids aren't buying in, then that magic will never happen. And so just like Disney, it's important we train our employees that they are ready to show that magic. So switch over to this one. Walt Disney said, whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they will want to come back and see you do it again. And they will want to bring others and show them how well you do what you do. This is a major quote in how Disney operates to this day, and it's being the best at what they do. And so in our programs, are we teaching our staff to do everything to the best of their ability, or are we accepting like, the kids stayed alive today? I know I have days where either one is, I could hit both in one day. So just something to think about is, how are our staff knowing that they're doing well? How are our staff knowing what the best things to do are in program? All right, and now we're gonna get to the real meat here of the presentation. So Disney has 4 keys. Every Disney employee is trained in these 4 keys. You're given a card that goes behind your ID that tells you the 4 keys, so you'll never forget them. And it's very much drilled into you and celebrated when you're doing them well. And this is every staff member from the CEO to the janitors at Disneyland who clean the bathrooms, all work under this training system with these 4 keys. The 4 keys are safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. They are in order. Safety is number 1. So efficiency, for example, is number 4. Efficiency can never come before safety. A great example of thing like a silly mistake that happens, right? That you're doing something quickly and someone gets hurt. They have set this up so that you remember this and you stop and say, wait, safety has to come first. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the Disney's 4 keys in order. Now, as we go through them, on the left, we're going to have a summary of that key. And then on the right, we're going to have 3 I statements that are given to Disney employees about that key. So number 1, safety. The keys appear in a specific order to remind us that safety must be the priority in every decision we take and must never be sacrificed for another key. And those are, I practice safe behavior in everything I do. I take action to always put safety first. I speak up to ensure the safety of others. Now, as I looked at this today, I realized our whole world right now, we're on number one, we're on safety. The reason that we're having conversations about what do I do with digital programming, what do I do to keep these kids engaged right now, all of this is because we're trying to be safe and we're putting the safety of others in a top priority space. So it was interesting to see that while this is very relevant when you're in program and the kids are on the playground, or you're in program and the kids are doing a science experiment, it's right where we are right now, is we're in key number one and we are trying to make sure that they are safe. Next, we have courtesy. Because cast members, now Disney calls all of their staff cast members because you were on stage performing. So because cast members play a major role in the magical experience, courtesy must be at the heart of our contact with guests, as well as colleagues and partners. And the I statements for that one are: I project a positive image and energy. I am courteous and respectful to guests of all ages. I go above and beyond to exceed guest expectations. So all of those great memories we had earlier about customer service and about those wonderful moments where people took care of you at Disneyland, it's because of this courtesy key, that they are looking out for others' interests before their own as a staff. And it makes them very aware of everything happening around them. Next is show. It breathes life into the stories we tell our guests. The show key also applies backstage in offices and workshops where each of us contributes directly or indirectly to the guest experience. So Disney has on stage, which is when you are working in an area that is public, where you are interacting with guests. And then they have backstage, which is the offices and workshops and practice areas and all of that other stuff that makes the magic happen on stage. And it's very important that your attitude with guests is the same as your attitude when you're with your coworkers in the back. So with that, the I statements are: I stay in character and I perform my role in the show. So are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you doing your role in program? And then I ensure my area is show ready at all times. So that's those things of, have I cleaned up the glitter mess from yesterday? Have I swept the floor and wiped the tables normally? Which now I realized as I got ready for this presentation quickly, I have guinea pigs behind me. And their cages were messy. And so I went, oh, my area is not show ready because this is now my area, which is a very odd feeling because your house is part of your program now. So just something to keep in mind. And then number 4, we have efficiency. By managing our activity efficiently, events run smoothly and we avoid unnecessary inconveniences for our guests, colleagues, and professional partners. I perform my role efficiently so guests get the most out of their visit. I use my time and resources wisely. Every time I read this, it never gets less true. After school resources are scarce and valuable. So how great is it to remind staff that are you using your time and resources wisely? Are we making slime for the 30th time this week when we have gone through 5 gallons of glue? That's a true story from a program I ran. That you can use things well, or you can kind of waste them. And so taking a look at programs and are we being efficient with what we are doing and how we're doing it? All right, does anyone have any questions about the keys? Webinar pauses are the longest pauses in the world. That is a fact. All right. So what does this look like for us? Here is what's getting ready to happen. I'm going to split you up into 4 breakout rooms. Each breakout room at the top will have one of the keys. So it'll say safety, courtesy, show, or efficiency at the top of your thing. It'll also tell you as you get sent. So pay attention before you click the go to the room to know which one you're at. In your room, what I want you to do is look at what does this mean for us, for our programs. You can look at it as what does it mean for in-person programs, or what does it mean right now with what our programs look like? So safety, are we talking virtual safety? Or are we talking physical safety? Have that conversation for both, because one day we will be back together in a new normal again. So I'm going to start that process. It may take a second. So if you have a question while we get ready, now is your chance to ask it. I created them with their names, and so it's making me manually assign you guys. So just sit tight while I click frantically. Aha. Okay, I found a shortcut, but now I'm having to retype our names. Sorry about the delay. There we go.
All right, everybody, how's it going?
Hello.
Welcome to our party. Hey, Maxine, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for being around. It's always great seeing people that come back week after week, day after day to check out our nuggets.
Maxine, I feel like you and I are always in the same group. It's awesome.
Oh, I secretly wanted to tell Eleanor or to put me in the same group as you too, Kelly.
I'm sure.
Hey, I have a question for you. Do these nuggets count for that incentive?
They sure do.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to add them to my incentive.
Yes, do.
I think it's kind of funny how these nuggets have been really poignant along the COVID release, because each one has had different, I guess, like Easter eggs I've found that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with that right now when we're covering it. So I have found them beneficial. Thank you.
That's great. So glad you could attend. Angel, you are a fearless leader in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely can be. Okay, so our group is labeled courtesy. I am going to drop some bullet points that relate back to courtesy and what Eleanor was talking about back in the main session. So the first one is I project a positive image and energy. The second one is I am courteous and respectful.
Angel, I just came in to do the exact same thing.
To guests of all ages. Yep, we got it. Thanks, Eleanor. And the last one is I go above and beyond to exceed guest expectations.
I don't know if you guys know this.
Dropped them in too.
Angel is the fastest typer in our office. It's been confirmed.
Is he really?
Yes. You could
That's
hear
cool.
him typing away.
Well, he can help me, right? So if I send my work to him, he can do it really fast for me?
For a nice price, Lori. For a nice price. We can make anything happen.
Okay.
All right. So with these three things, these 3 bullet points, and going back to courtesy, in relation to our programs, or maybe even now in virtual programming, how do we see that this fits in? How has it played in a role in our worlds currently? What are we thinking? What are we seeing with this specific key for the people that are in the field?
I think being aware of family situations when we do contact them, and being patient.
Mm-hmm.
I know go ahead.
No, you can finish. It's okay.
I just, with my regular job, or my other job, I should say, finding out what the roadblocks are to being able to help them and finding a way to do it. I mean, I ended up having to walk up 3 houses and physically show them how to do Zoom so that I could work with their children, because the language barrier, or, I think it makes a
Right.
difference.
Yeah. And where are you located, Lori?
In Milford,
Okay.
in the boondocks.
Yeah. Hey, small towns though, and that makes it easy to walk 3 houses down and show people how to use Zoom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Susie, did you have something to add?
I was just gonna say, going back to communication, trying to be mindful of how we communicate. So like the frequency of communication, and really simplifying everything. I know, sorry, my cat is walking along the keyboard.
No worries.
I know that for some of our families, videos work a lot better because of literacy skills, but then also even not posting too much, because then that's overwhelming when they're trying to find information. So trying to be courteous in that way of how we pace things out and how we send messages.
Writing some of these things down so we can share back out. Thank you for sharing. Paula Marie, or Maria, or Maxine, or Maddie, anything that you guys would like to share?
For me, I think like the whole projecting a positive image and energy is so important, just because it's really draining to be in front of a computer screen all day. So if we can just like, when we do interact with them, either through emails or through video chat, we have a positive energy about us and we stay positive, because they feed off of our energy and they need us to, cheer them on and be enthusiastic and things like that. So I think that's important.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because if you're feeling down and if you have to go on the screen, you don't want the other person to also be a downer too. I hear that 100%. Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah, I agree with everything everybody's been saying. This is Maxine. I've noticed this exact same thing, that with my customer service, I want to be positive. I like the whole entire part where she was talking about backstage and behind the scenes, because I think that's a lot of what I do. And then I do work with the students on stage, but backstage, I try to set up the coordinators and set up the group leaders and set up the students for success. So when they are on stage, that their interactions are more collaborative, right? And then they're getting a positive experience out of being in our programs. So I think that's really important, to have an easy process for them to register, for the group leaders to get trainings. I liked all of that. And I liked how she said having your stage ready, and that works for us within customer service, making sure their environment that the students enter into is supportive and nurturing and stimulates inquiry. And then I also think that the same thing goes for right now, where we're in a virtual space and how we're transitioning to a different realm that we don't know what it's going to be like with our new, because I think, aren't we going back for a little bit, and it's going to be really small programs, and then we have to think about like that too, like what that's going to look like, and how we can project a safe space in that and new environment that we're going to be, because it's going to be, at first it's going to be a little I don't know, I think everybody's going to be a little bit nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the unknown. That's one thing that I've been thinking about a lot, is what's going to happen next. How are we going to create best practices for these programs that have never existed before, that people have never worked in? So it's really going to be being innovative and really getting a feel for what the community needs and what we can do to step up and be there for them.
I think right now, just practicing everything that we have learned and really implementing it was going to be like, because we do want to create a soft and nurturing and comfortable space for these students, because they're going to want that social interaction, but we can't like limit them. And it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a whole new adventure we're going to have to learn as we go through.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's that's been the last month and a half, or I guess 1 month, maybe a month and a couple of weeks, but it doesn't seem like we're going anywhere anytime soon. So
It's been week 7. This is week 7.
Wow. That's nuts. That's crazy. All right. Well, Paula Marie, anything that you would like to share, or Maria, anything you would like to share with our group?
So really quick, Paula's one of my staff. I know she's been having issues with technology, so I don't think her mic's working.
Okay, no worries. No worries. Thanks, Susie. Thanks for letting me know. And Maria, if you have anything to say.
Sorry. This is Mariah. I was just gonna comment. No worries. The spelling is I get it wrong all the time. I was just gonna say that I think the big thing for me, where I'm the director in the office, is I think it goes back to training your staff. And if I'm excited, regardless of whether or not we're doing things virtually or not, if I'm excited about the program and the things that we're doing, and I'm training them and showing my excitement and training them to be excited and how important it is, and helping them to own the program, because when our staff owns the program and they're excited about it, and I'm excited about it, then the kids are then excited about it. So I think it starts at the top and works its way down, and a lot of that goes into the training and how we're training our staff. And I've seen that over this last year with some extra trainings we've done, what a difference it's made.
That's awesome. That's great to hear that you've seen it in person and you've seen it in practice. I've always been a big proponent of that trickle down effect. It comes from the top, and whatever we're pushing at the top will eventually, hopefully, translate to the kids. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you all for sharing. We have quite a good list. Does anybody absolutely want to share? Katie, do you absolutely want to share? Do you have anything else that you want to add to our group, Katie?
I mean, I feel like they've pretty well covered everything. I think that the biggest thing for me too would be that positive image and energy, and making the kids feel like we're excited to see them, even if it's really awkward.
Yes. Yeah, getting past being recorded and hearing your own voice on video. That's a big one. All right, Eleanor,
Katie, you're so funny.
Well, thanks. I hope that's a thanks.
Eleanor, how are we doing on time? Are we going back?
I was gonna check how many more minutes did you guys think you needed?
We've all shared out, and we have a pretty good list to share back to the group.
We had one group that had a delayed start, so I'll go post the announcement to start selecting a spokesperson. So we'll give them a little bit more time.
Okay, sweet. See you soon. Okay, so does anybody want to share from our group? I will chat all of our notes in the chat box, and we can keep those. But I am also more than happy to share too. I'm just opening it up. All right, take that as a no. Well, how's everything going for everybody else in the room? Are we keeping busy? Maxine, yes, I will plan on it. Thanks.
Oh, okay. I've been way busy. I've been standing underneath Niagara Falls.
Yeah, with all the downpour, huh? Taking all the pressure.
You have no idea. You have no idea. It's been awesome. I've learned all about Minecraft. I've been wading in the training waters of Stanford and Harmony with social and emotional learning. I am a OneNote master now. I am so savvy on Microsoft Teams and OneNote. I can share my screen like nobody's business and navigate the internet. My Excel spreadsheet skills have grown.
Maxine, what more do you want out of life?
Oh my gosh, I'm super savvy. I'm going to learn Sway pretty soon. No, it's been quite amazing. I'm working on what our plan's going to look like for the summer. I'm working on what our plan's going to look like for the fall. It's been so wild to like learn how. It's like I feel like I'm constantly reinventing and mastering what various different types of after school programs could look like. It's amazing. It's so amazing. And I've got to know so many of my group leaders through this whole entire thing in a whole new way. I've been supporting them with professional development and with trainings, and I've been working with them. It's been such an amazing process where I have been really instantly connected to people in a way that I never knew that I was going to.
Yeah. It's like we're being challenged to connect through virtual or through different means, and so it's making it a little bit more impactful. That's awesome. Thanks, Maxine. Susie, sorry to cut you off, but do you have something to share?
Oh no, I was just listening.
Oh, okay.
I've been busy. Life is hard.
What are you guys doing at DIA?
So we're doing virtual after school. We've had 40 kids show up. A lot of them attend multiple clubs in the same day. So that's been pretty cool. Miguel and his family are one of our main attendees, which is pretty cool. But I think it's been a learning curve. We've been trying to do videos for those that can't get on Zoom, and then Zoom clubs. So that way we hit both areas. But yeah, we're trying to just see what we're doing for the summer. It's kind of hard to plan. We're tentatively planning in hopes that we'll be able to go back.
Yeah, that from what it sounds like you guys are doing amazing things in what you're trying to do. So that's great. We are going back in 9 seconds. So thank you all for sharing again. And hopefully we can connect more in the future. Okay, see you.
All right, welcome back. I'm going to go on and apologize because I believe my my warning push notification that went out might not have been easiest to read as fast as they go. So my apologies if you weren't ready to come back yet. And so what that had was a warning, and also was asking you to select a spokesperson. So if your group was not prepared to speak up yet, now would be a chance to privately chat each other frantically so that we can all have this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have, since we split up the keys, we're going to have each group share out so that everyone can get what the other groups were brainstorming. So of course we have to go in order because safety is number one. So we're going to start with safety.
Hey, so we talked a lot about safety is so important in so many ways with these kids, right? But it was really interesting to talk with people that like all work with different kinds of kids in different ways and different ages, you know? And we just kind of had the conversation of like sometimes talking with the younger kids and talking to them about safety is very different than talking with some of these older kids and having to explain to them. Like the younger kids usually will just listen most of the time, right? If you say that they need to be being safe in these specific ways. But once they get a little bit older, then it can be hard. And I just like, in my position, I work with like from preschool to there's kids that are 18 in our program. And so like it can be very difficult sometimes with the older kids and having to sit there and explain like, hey, we need to be safe in these ways and it's so important because of this, this, and this. Like it's not an easy thing, but it's so important, you know, and it's a huge part of our job.
All right. Anyone else from safety want to chime in? All right. Thank you, safety. Moving on, next we have courtesy.
All right, for courtesy, so we had quite a pretty solid conversation. We got a lot of different things out. The first thing that was noted in relation to courtesy and working with families, just being empathetic, thinking about what they're going through at home. People that are working from home are also having to do homework with kids at home. And then there's a lot of other things. So thinking about how we're providing materials for them, accessibility of materials, whether it's video, whether it's a Zoom meeting, and seeing what people have access to at home. Positive image and energy was another thing that came up, especially on virtual means. We're on computers a lot lately, especially kids if they have homework on computers, or if, you know, screen time is building up a lot. Whenever we're presenting to our kids or to, you know, our partners or whoever it is, trying to come with that positive energy so that hopefully they can also feed off of that as well when we're interacting with them through these virtual means. Because it can be kind of disconnecting, but trying to do what we can on our end to liven that up. The next thing that was brought up was what are we doing backstage to ensure success for staff and students? So thinking about how we're preparing staff and students for success for the future. This is thinking about different trainings, thinking about different materials, different ideas, what can we do to keep people safe and to keep people engaged. And the last thing, when we're training staff, especially in all these new concepts and things that we're doing, being excited for them. So thinking about how are we presenting, how is our excitement, so that hopefully these staff can take this excitement back to the students and also follow that in the future. So it's going back to that trickle-down effect of sharing ideas and ideals and morals within a program and what we think is important for our specific programs. And that is it for courtesy.
All right. Anything else from courtesy that someone wants to hop on to say? All right, next up is show.
I believe I have been nominated, but Elizabeth is going to chime in if I forget anything. So there were two aspects that we talked about. One of them is being show ready, and we loved your guinea pig analogy, Eleanor, of like your guinea pig cages, right? And I'm thinking like even personally as a person, do not feel show ready today, right? So if I was facilitating an activity or if I was, I don't know, if I was in the limelight in some way, then I would want to make sure that I myself was also show ready. And that us modeling that with kids can be really valuable to give them consistency, to show them that we respect them and that we respect this space, even though it's virtual. And just that personally we can be show ready, and then also our space, and kind of modeling that for them so they can also consider that in their own lives and what that might mean for them to be show ready. And then also staying in character and performing is important with kids, obviously, but then also we talked a lot about parents and how that translates from an in-person after-school program under quote-unquote normal circumstances, and then also now, so that like perhaps in our roles and in our positions, I think Janie shared this in our group, that she is having a lot of interactions with parents and trying to just like show them respect and have them cooperate and learn this whole new virtual world with us too, and that there could be some elements of that dynamic, that being show ready and staying in character and kind of performing in this professional role can be really important and valuable. And then also with our kids, that maybe there's like an activity point where we could like put on a show, right? Like we have control over our little 3-inch square on our computers. And we could use that to really facilitate an activity or to create an environment where they can feel creative. Kristen talked a lot about being safe, providing kids like a safe space, and having that be show ready is really important. So I think it's a really cool aspect to consider in how to apply that Disney principle to after school.
Right. Anyone else from show want to chime in? I know that was always my favorite key because I'm a very dramatic person. So it always suited me well in after school to make things a show.
So ready. Eleanor, can I say one more thing quickly?
Yes.
Another thing that we brought up was part of that show is everyone that takes part in that, from someone sweeping the floor all the way to the person making the curriculum. So making sure that we are showing that respect and calling out every single person in that environment to make it magical.
Mm-hmm. Very. I'm just gonna be like, amen, good point. A reminder we always need all the time. All All right. And then last but not least, we have efficiency. And I have to apologize because I realized how poorly I spelled that word on your chat room title.
Hi, so I'm the spokesperson for efficiency. And what we talked about in our group is that to be efficient in a program, it's going to really come down to the whole entire team, whether if that be the director, the tutors and all of the other people involved. Everybody's going to have to participate in order to make a program efficient. In order to make a program efficient, I feel like it's going to also incorporate all the other aspects such as courtesy, show, and safety, because at the end of the day, we have a goal as a program to make the environment safe for the kids, to help them feel trusted, and to have fun most of all in all of it. And especially in times right now, we have to be even more efficient than we have before, because back before all this happened, we could see the kids' faces, we could show them our nonverbal body languages with like smiles, hugs, things like that, and get them excited for the program. But now it's a lot harder, at least for my program, to be as efficient, because with all this virtual online stuff that's going on, not everybody's participating in ways as much as we would like them to. So I think definitely it's a challenge, but as a team works together, we need to figure out ways how we can be more efficient to help out the kids, especially in times like right now.
Anyone else from efficiency? All right, thanks everybody for sharing. Let me get the PowerPoint back. All right. So thank you so much for those great discussions. Sounded like a lot of good stuff happened. So looking at this, obviously Disney, it's another leadership model, right? You're like, okay, cool. Another 4 things to remember, nice little acronym, pictures of keys, got it. So that's why I like to take it back to the program and what does that mean? And what I noticed is a lot of getting everyone on board seemed to be a common theme. So as you think about how this affects our programming, sorry, motorcycle driving by my window. Who here has seen this website before? Hopefully lots of you. So this is the Utah Afterschool Network Quality Tool webpage, the landing page. And I know most of you would have heard of it because if you know how to find our webinars, you've probably seen the ads for the quality tool as well. It is a fall assessment that happens, and it's a self-assessment that you do. So right now we're looking at, it's been about 5 months since this was turned in for your program. Those 5 months seem like 5 years to me at this point. So I know that it probably wouldn't hurt me to go back and look at it at this stage in the game. But what's nice about the quality tool is it has 4 areas, and each of those areas really breaks down those best practices for your program. And what I thought was interesting is as I went through and I looked at our quality tool and I looked at those best practices, I noticed something. The 4 keys, we have safety, quality tool has be safe. We have courtesy, develop meaningful relationships. So that empathy that was discussed in the group. Then we have show, learn new skills. That one's a bit of a stretch, I'm not gonna lie. But it's that substance of what's happening in your program. And then we have efficiency, which administration, that's where efficiency in an organization tends to flow down from the admin. So just something to consider, that our quality tool could be a great practical discussion starter for your staff on these concepts. And also to point out best practices. We get them thrown at us all the time, right? There's this set and this tool and this to look at all over here. And then now Disney has this 4 keys concept. But at the end of the day, what's best for kids doesn't change. And those best practices are going to be cousins. You're always going to find another set that kind of matches. So if you've done a school age program quality assessment with us, I always call it the cousin of the quality tool. All right, we have our first one in. Always being on when we are on the floor. I love it. It's good for a heart. And more staff pre-program meetings. I don't think we can ever have enough. I feel like pre-program meetings, I'm always going, oh, I missed something. One more thing. Oh, now we're flying. All right, looks like some great reflection happening. Bringing that energy and performance into programs. Amberly's gonna use her Zoom Square for an advantage. I'm looking forward to seeing her in our next meeting. We'll have to see what that looks like. The keys, applying them, the quality tool. I just, can't have enough quality tool. They don't pay me extra to say that. Being a role model, and just that reviewing your own performance. And I think that's the biggest concept with Disney is that you get reviewed a lot. That's why they have such good customer service, is because the stakes are very high to work for Disney. As someone who was terminated, I can say that. And so it's just something to think about, that's what makes them magical, is a lot of effort. And so it pays off. Oh, good. Community Ed has been reviewing the quality tool. I think it's a great time. It's always nice to have those moments to look over things that are in a hurry in the fall. All right, any questions? All right, so on the screen, you'll see some things. You'll see me with my niece and nephew, because you gotta have some Disney spam. My email address, if you have any questions and need to get a hold of me, that is the easiest way to do it right now. And then underneath that is a QR code, and I believe Angel's gonna help me out and get that in the chat as well. And that is, of course, the link for the survey. So be sure to fill that out so you can get credit for being here. Thanks for listening, guys. Let us know if you have any other comments or questions. Oh, and in case anyone else is curious, the resource that'll get sent out after this has the 4 keys on it. So if you didn't quite grab all of those, you'll be able to see it there.
Oh, thank you. Now, where is the survey coming through? Is that going to be,
It's in the chat box. Resend it so it's at the bottom. You should see utahafterschool.az.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right.
I'm just such a slow learner, big learning curve.
Well, it's hard in this chat box too, because you blink and all of a sudden what you were looking at is now 5 screens back, and you're going, whoa.
Which reminds me, I know this is not part of this, but it's part of the excitement. I didn't know how to pass this on. I sent it on to my people, but do any of you know that there will be a flyover in about 10 minutes by a formation of planes?
Yes, I live in Layton, so the base, I keep track of where the planes are going to be, because I was like, okay, we got to finish a little early today because if those fly off in the middle of my presentation, no one will be able to hear me.
I just only found out an hour ago or 2 hours ago, and I thought, oh shoot, I wish I had known yesterday. I would have
Yeah,
sent a notice to all the students.
They're going to do quite the loop, so hopefully everyone will get a chance to see them.
Yeah, yeah.
And experience what it's like to live near the base up here.
Oh, let's see. Somehow, oh, there it is. Okay. So when we leave this group, will I lose this link for the survey?
Yeah, you're going to want to copy that.
See, I'm
before
on a cell phone. Oh, copy
No.
message. Okay. Copy to clip tray. Okay, got it.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
That was going to be my next question is, okay, what sort of device are you on? Like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah. When I got hired, it was for teaching piano, and I thought, I'm fine with that, and we're doing well. And then all of a sudden, oh, you need to do this on the internet and this, and I'm going, I don't even have a computer at home. So
See, I was fine because I had to do everything on the internet, and then they told me I needed to play piano and fill in at church, and I panicked. So we've got the opposite covered.
Oh gosh. Okay, so at least it's on my thing, so I copied it. All right, good. Thank you so much for doing this.
No problem. So, all right, Angel, I think we're pretty much done.
Sweet. Okay, good job.
Bye, everybody.
See you, everybody. Adios.
Can I ask one question?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, I did some others, and I'm not very tech savvy either. I'm learning, and I didn't get a certificate for them. How do I go about that? That I got on, but I just didn't.
So I've had another program had to do this. So what you're going to want to do is keep track of which ones you've done. So like maybe the titles or if the date you
Okay.
released. And you're going to email that to professional learning
Okay.
at utahafterschool.org, and then they'll be able to help you get reconnected with those surveys.
Okay. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You
It
too.
was awesome.
Well, thank you.
See you, Lori. All right.
I was like, no, I think everyone's really gone.
Okay, bye-bye.
I was like, last call.
A glass of fermented milk. Okay.
There you go. All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.